I am Abigail, 34 years old, and I stood in the middle of a ballroom frozen in silence as my own sister tried to steal my husband, my wedding, and my dignity. Before I tell you about the moment I projected an eviction notice onto a 20-foot screen in front of 150 guests, leaving my family homeless, I need you to understand how we got there. Before we dive in, please let me know in the comments where you are watching from. It helps me feel a little less alone in this. 2 weeks before the wedding, my life was a chaotic blur of spreadsheets and conference calls. As the CFO of a mid-sized logistics firm, stress was my baseline. I was used to putting out fires. I was used to managing crises. But nothing prepared me for the call that came on a Tuesday afternoon. My phone buzzed against the mahogany of my desk. It was my mother, Linda. "Abby, pick up. It's an emergency," the voicemail said. Her voice wasn't panicked. It was demanding. It was that specific tone she reserved for when she needed money or a favor, usually both. I called back immediately, my heart hammering a rhythm of conditioned anxiety against my ribs. "Mom, is Dad okay? Is it Bella?" "Your father is fine, Abigail. Stop being so dramatic," she snapped, her voice crisp and dismissive. "I need you to come over to the house, right now. Bella has a surprise for the wedding, and we need to coordinate." I rubbed my temples, staring at the quarterly reports on my screen. "Mom, I can't just leave. I have a meeting with the investors in an hour, and I have my final dress fitting at 6. "This is more important than your little meeting," she said. There was no room for argument in her tone. "It's about the procession. Bella has done something wonderful, and if you don't come see it, you're going to ruin her moment. Just come. Don't be selfish." Selfish. That was the trigger word. For my entire life, any attempt to set a boundary was labeled as selfishness. I sighed, the fight draining out of me. Fine, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I canceled the meeting. I prioritized them again. When I pulled up to the house, a beautiful, sprawling 2-story colonial that I had purchased 5 years ago so my parents wouldn't have to downgrade after Dad's bad investments, I felt a knot in my stomach. The lawn was perfectly manicured, paid for by me. The new roof paid for by me. I walked in, and the atmosphere was strangely festive. My father, Robert, was sitting in his recliner, a beer in hand, watching golf. He barely looked up. "Hey, kid," he grunted. "Where's Mom? Where's Bella?" I asked, placing my keys on the counter. "In the living room," Mom called out. "Close your eyes, Abby. You have to be surprised." I walked into the living room, feeling ridiculous, and covered my eyes. "Okay, Mom, what is this about?" "Open them," Bella squealed. I dropped my hands, and then I stopped breathing. Standing in the center of the room was my younger sister, Bella. She was 26, beautiful and glowing, but that wasn't what stopped my heart. It was what she was wearing. It was a ball gown. A massive, floor-length ball gown with layers of tulle, intricate lace detailing on the bodice, and a train that pulled around her feet. And it was white. Not cream, not ivory, not champagne. It was blinding, stark, bridal white. It looked exactly like a wedding dress. In fact, it looked more like a wedding dress than my actual wedding dress, which was a sleek, modern silk design. "Surprise!" Bella twirled, the fabric swishing softly. "Mom found it at that boutique downtown. Isn't it stunning?" My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I looked at my mother, waiting for the punchline, waiting for her to say this was a joke. Linda was beaming, her hands clasped together. "Doesn't she look like an angel? We thought it would be perfect for the procession." "The procession?" I managed to choke out. "Yes," Mom said, walking over to adjust a piece of lace on Bella's shoulder. "Since Dad is walking you down the aisle, we thought it would be so symbolic if Bella walked down first. You know, clearing the path, leading the way. She'll look like a princess." "Mom," I said, my voice trembling, That is a wedding dress. Bella stopped twirling. Her face fell into a pout that I knew all too well. It's not a wedding dress, Abby. It's a gala gown. It just happens to be white. It has a train, Bella. It has lace sleeves. It's white. I felt the heat rising in my cheeks. I'm the bride. You cannot wear a white ball gown to my wedding. The room went silent. The smile vanished from my mother's face, replaced by a cold, hard glare. Abigail, she said, her voice dropping an octave. Don't start. Start what? I asked, incredulous. Basic etiquette? You don't wear white to a wedding unless you're the bride. Everyone knows that. It's not just any wedding, Bella whined, tears instantly welling up in her eyes, a trick she had perfected by age 5. It's my sister's wedding. I wanted to look special for you. I wanted to make us look good. Why do you always have to be so jealous of me? Jealous? I laughed, a harsh, dry sound. It's my wedding day. It's the one day I'm supposed to stand out. Oh, stop it, Mom snapped. You're 34, Abigail. You're an established woman. You have the career, the house, the husband. Bella is still finding her way. Why can't you let her have this one moment to shine? Why do you have to be the center of attention all the time? I looked around the room, feeling like I had stepped into the twilight zone. I am the bride, I whispered. I am literally supposed to be the center of attention. That is so narcissistic, Bella sniffled. I turned to my father, who had wandered in from the kitchen. Dad, you're seeing this, right? You can't be okay with this. Dad took a sip of his beer, looking uncomfortable. He hated conflict, which meant he always sided with whoever was loudest, Mom and Bella. Abby, he mumbled. It's just a dress. It's not worth fighting about. Just let it go. Don't make a scene. Thank you for being here with me at the start of this nightmare. If you are watching this, please comment the name of your city below. I need to know there are sane people out there. The air in the living room was thick enough to choke on. My father's words hung there. Don't make a scene. It was the family motto. It meant, Abby, swallow your feelings so we don't have to deal with reality. Dad, I said, trying to keep my voice steady though my hands were shaking. This isn't about making a scene. This is about respect. She is wearing a bridal gown. It's an evening gown, Mom interjected, stepping between me and Bella as if I were a physical threat. And honestly, Abigail, you should be flattered. Bella wants to be part of your big day in a significant way. Most sisters grow apart, but she wants to be there, right in front of you. By blocking me? I asked. If she walks down the aisle in that, people will think she's the bride. Then I walk in, it'll look like a double wedding or a farce. Bella wiped her eyes, carefully checking her mascara in the mirror. You're just insecure because the dress fits me better than yours fits you. You've always been jealous of my figure. That hit a nerve. I worked 60-hour weeks. I went to the gym at 5 a.m. I took care of myself. Bella slept until noon and spent her days shopping with money she borrowed from Mom, money that ultimately came from me. This isn't about bodies, Bella. It's about protocol, I said, gritting my teeth. If you wear that dress, you are not walking down the aisle. Mom gasped. How dare you? You would exclude your own sister? I'm not excluding her. I'm asking her to wear the bridesmaid's dress we picked out, the sage green one, the one I paid $300 for. That dress is hideous, Bella spat. It washes me out. I'm not wearing it. It's this dress or nothing. She crossed her arms, the white tulle rustling aggressively. She looked like a petulant child in a pageant costume. Then I guess it's nothing, I said, my voice cold. If you kick your sister out of the wedding party, Mom said, stepping closer, her finger raised, then you are tearing this family apart. Do you hear me? You are choosing a piece of clothing over your own flesh and blood. I am choosing my dignity, I shouted. It was the first time I had raised my voice. Lowered your voice, Dad warned from the doorway. Neighbors. If Bella doesn't walk, I'm not walking, Mom declared. She lifted her chin, defying me. And if I'm not there, your father isn't going to walk you down the aisle either. Are you, Robert? She looked at Dad. He looked at his beer, then at me. He shrugged. Listen to your mother, Abby. We're a package deal. Don't ruin the day over a dress. Just let her wear it. Who cares? You're getting married anyway. I felt a cold sensation spread through my chest. It was the realization of where I stood in the hierarchy. I was the bank. I was the fixer. I was the safety net. But I was not the daughter they cherished. Bella was the prize. I was the utility. You're blackmailing me? I asked quietly. You won't come to my wedding unless I let Bella pretend to be the bride? We are setting boundaries against your bullying, Mom said smoothly, twisting the vocabulary of therapy to suit her abuse. You are being a bridezilla. We are simply standing up for Bella's right to express herself. Express herself? It's not her wedding. It's a family celebration, Mom countered. It belongs to all of us. Do you know how much stress I've been under? I deserve to see my beautiful Bella walking down that aisle looking like a star. I deserve that. There it was. She deserved it. I looked at Bella. She was smirking now, a tiny, triumphant smirk hidden behind her hand. She knew she had won. She always won, because Mom was her shield and Dad was her enabler. Fine, I said. The word tasted like ash. Fine? Mom asked, eyes lighting up. I need to go, I said. I have a dress fitting. See? Mom clapped her hands. Was that so hard? Being the bigger person looks good on you, Abby. You'll thank me later when you see the photos. It'll be so artistic, both of you in white. Yeah, thanks, Abby, Bella chimed in, smoothing the bodice of her gown. I knew you'd get over it. I turned and walked out of the house. I didn't say goodbye. I walked to my car, got in and locked the doors. I didn't start the engine immediately. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white, staring at the front door of the house I owned, the house they lived in rent-free. I felt like screaming, but I was too tired. I was so incredibly tired of being the adult while they played house with my resources. I started the car and drove away. I didn't go to the dress fitting. I drove straight to the one place where I felt safe. I drove to the apartment I shared with Marcus. But as I drove, the sadness began to curdle. It sat in my gut, heavy and sour, and slowly, very slowly, it began to heat up. I wasn't just sad anymore. I was starting to feel something else, something dangerous. By the time I unlocked our apartment door, my mascara was a mess, but my eyes were dry. Marcus was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner. He was an architect, calm, precise, structurally sound. He was everything my family wasn't. He looked up, saw my face, and immediately put the knife down. Abby, what happened? I walked over and buried my face in his chest. He smelled like basil and safety. They ambushed me, I mumbled into his shirt. Bella has a white ball gown. Mom says she has to wear it and lead the procession, or none of them will come. Marcus pulled back, holding me by the shoulders, his brow furrowed. Wait, a white gown? Like a wedding dress? Exactly like a wedding dress, and Dad said if I make a scene, he won't walk me down the aisle. Marcus went silent. His jaw tightened, a muscle jumping in his cheek. He had never liked my family, but he tolerated them for my sake. He called them the vampires. Abby, he said, his voice low and serious. You know this isn't normal, right? You know that, don't you? I know, I whispered. But what can I do? It's 2 weeks away. If I fight them, I'll be standing there alone. No family. Just then, my phone pinged. It was a text from Chloe, my wedding planner and best friend since college. Hey girl, just wanted to confirm the change order. Your mom called and said we're switching your entrance song to 1,000 Years for Bella's entrance, and you're taking the instrumental version. Also, she added a special dance for Bella and her boyfriend to the reception timeline. I told her I needed your approval first, but she said you already agreed. I stared at the screen. The air left my lungs. What is it? Marcus asked. I showed him the phone. They're hijacking the wedding. They aren't just wearing a dress. They're taking the music. They're taking the first dance. Marcus took the phone from my hand and set it on the counter. Abby, why do you still pay for them? The question hung in the air. What? The credit card, Marcus said. The one your mom has for emergencies. The one you pay off every month. Why do you do it? Because they're family. Because dad's pension is small. Because mom has health issues. Check the statement, Marcus said. It wasn't a request. It was an order. Marcus, I don't want to fight about money right now. Check the statement, Abby. I pulled up my banking app. I navigated to the credit card account I had given my mother 3 years ago for groceries and medical bills. I scrolled down to the pending transactions. La Bella Sposa Boutique, $4,200. I blinked. I refreshed the page. The numbers stayed the same. My mother had bought Bella's white gown, the gown meant to humiliate me, with my credit card. Something inside me broke. It wasn't a loud crack. It was a silent, clean snap, like a dry twig in winter. The tears stopped. The shaking stopped. A strange, icy clarity washed over my brain. It was the same feeling I got when I looked at a failing balance sheet at work. The emotion evaporated, leaving only cold, hard data. They were using my money to destroy my wedding. I kept scrolling. Jewelry store, $800. Spa package for 2, $600. Liquor store, $450. All in the last 3 days. They spent $6,000 this week, I said, my voice sounding unfamiliar to my own ears. It was steady, robotic. They bought the dress with my money. Marcus watched me closely. So, what are you going to do? I looked up at him. The sadness was gone. I didn't feel like a victim anymore. I felt like a CFO looking at a department that needed to be liquidated. I'm going to stop crying, I said, and I'm going to call Henderson. Henderson was my company's corporate attorney, a shark in a 3-piece suit. You're going to sue them? Marcus asked, a slow smile spreading across his face. No, I said, walking over to my laptop and opening a new spreadsheet. I'm going to evict them. Abby? I'm done, Marcus. The bank is closed. I started typing furiously. They want to make this about money? They want to make this about who holds the power? Fine, I'll show them who holds the power. I picked up my phone and dialed the number on the back of the credit card. Thank you for calling Platinum Services, the operator said. Hi, I said, my voice cheerful and bright. My name is Abigail Miller. I need to report a theft. Well, not a theft exactly. I need to freeze a card immediately and dispute some charges as unauthorized. Marcus leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. This is going to get ugly. Oh, honey, I said, looking at him with a look he had never seen before. It's not going to be ugly. It's going to be surgical. The snap had happened. The daughter who begged for scraps of love was dead. The woman who remained was the one who negotiated million-dollar contracts for breakfast. And she was ready for war. To understand why this snap was so violent, you have to understand the history. It wasn't just about a dress. It never is. I sat there at the kitchen table, the adrenaline pumping through me, and memories flooded back, the receipts of my life. 10 years ago, I graduated top of my class with a degree in finance. Bella dropped out of community college because it was too stressful. 5 years ago, my parents came to me weeping. Dad had gambled away a significant portion of their retirement on a sure-thing stock tip from a buddy. They were going to lose their house, the house I grew up in. I was 29. I had just gotten a massive promotion. I had savings intended for my own future home. "Please, Abby," Mom had cried, clutching my hands, "don't let us end up on the street. We're too old to start over." So I bought the house. I paid off their mortgage, put the deed in my name to protect the asset, and told them they could live there rent-free for as long as they needed. I paid the property tax, I paid the insurance, I even kept them on my family phone plan. I became the provider, and in exchange, I thought I was buying their love, or at least their respect. But looking at that $4,200 charge for the white dress, another memory surfaced, something from just 2 months ago. I was at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. I had gone to the bathroom, but realized I left my phone in the kitchen. As I walked back down the hall, I heard them talking. They didn't know I was there. "When is she going to transfer the deed, Jacob?" Mom's voice. "She said she's waiting until the market stabilizes or something," Dad grumbled. "She likes holding it over our heads. It's a power trip." "Well," Bella's voice chimed in, "once she's married to Marcus, she won't need this house anyway. She'll have his money. She should just give it to me. I mean, it's only fair. She has a career. I have potential." "We're working on it, sweetie," Mom cooed. "We'll get her to sign it over as a wedding gift. It'll be her dowry to the family. She owes us that much for raising her." At the time, I had dismissed it. I told myself they were just venting. I told myself I was misinterpreting it. She owes us? Now, sitting in my apartment with the credit card bill on the screen, the pieces clicked into place. They weren't just entitled. They were predators. Bella wasn't just trying to look pretty at my wedding. I realized with a jolt of horror that this was a coordinated launch party. "Marcus," I said, looking up from my laptop, "I know why she wants to wear white, and I know why she wants the special dance." "Why?" "I think Chad is going to propose." Chad was Bella's boyfriend of 3 months, a gym trainer with wandering eyes and a love for expensive watches he couldn't afford. "At your wedding?" Marcus asked, disgusted. "Think about it," I said, pacing the room. "The white dress, the 1,000 Years entrance song, the special spotlight dance. Mom said they wanted to coordinate. They are turning my wedding into Bella's engagement party. And the cherry on top?" "The house?" Marcus guessed. "Exactly. They probably plan to announce the engagement, and then Mom will publicly pressure me to give the house to the new couple as a gift, in front of everyone, where I can't say no without looking like a monster." It was diabolical. It was brilliant, and it was absolutely something my mother would orchestrate. "So," Marcus said, "we uninvite them." "No," I said slowly. "If I uninvite them now, they spin the narrative. I become the evil sister who kicked her family out over a dress. They play the victim on Facebook. The extended family, Aunt Carol, Uncle Frank, the cousins, they'll all take Mom's side because they don't know the truth." I looked at the eviction notice template I had downloaded. "I need them to show their hand," I said. "I need everyone to see who they really are. And then I need to bury them." I picked up my phone again. "I need to call Henderson. And then I need to call a guy named Tank." "Tank?" "He runs the private security firm my company uses for high-value cargo," I said. "He's ex-military, he's 6'5", and he doesn't care about my mother's tears." "Abby," Marcus said, a mix of fear and admiration in his eyes, "you're scary." "I'm a CFO, honey," I said, typing a new email subject line, Protocol B, Wedding Security. "I manage risk. and my family has just become a liability. The next morning, I took a personal day. I didn't sleep. I operated on pure caffeine and vengeance. I met Mr. Henderson at a cafe downtown. He was a man of few words and expensive suits. When I explained the situation, the house deed, the unauthorized spending, the extortion regarding the wedding attendance, he didn't laugh. He took notes. "Legally, you are in the clear regarding the property," Henderson said, tapping his pen. "It is solely in your name. There is no lease agreement. In our state, they are tenants at will. However, given the familial relationship, a standard 30-day notice is generous. You could do less, but 30 days looks better to a judge if they contest it." "I want the notice drafted today," I said, "but don't serve it yet. I want to serve it myself." Henderson raised an eyebrow. "At the wedding?" "Let's just call it a reception favor." "Ruthless," Henderson murmured. "I like it. What about the credit card?" I froze it. "I flagged the charges as disputed, but I'm going to pay the bill for now so the credit score isn't hit. I'll deduct the $6,000 from the relocation assistance I was planning to give them, which is now zero." After the lawyer, I met with Tank. Tank was a mountain of a man with tattoos creeping up his neck in a demeanor that screamed, "Do not touch me." We met at the wedding venue for a walkthrough. "Okay, Miss Miller," Tank said, his voice like gravel. "Standard perimeter security, or do you have specific threats?" "3 specific threats," I said. "My mother, my father, and my sister." Tank blinked. "The family?" "I need a Protocol B," I explained. "They are allowed in, but they are to be watched closely. I need you to have a team on standby at the entrance. If my sister arrives in a coat, do not make her take it off at the door. Let her in. But I need you to visually confirm what is underneath. If it's white, you radio me, but do not stop her. Not yet." "You want her to get inside?" "I want her to hang herself," I said, figuratively. "I need the guests to see the dress. I need the evidence to be public." "Understood. And if they cause a scene?" "If I give the signal, which will be me dropping the microphone, you remove them. And I don't mean gently. I mean bouncer style." "And Tank?" "Yeah?" "If my father tries to touch me or the groom, drop him." Tank grinned. It was a terrifying sight. "With pleasure, ma'am." The final piece of the puzzle was the trap. I had to make them think they had won. I had to lower their defenses, so their arrogance would bloom into full-blown stupidity. I sat in my car in the venue parking lot and dialed my mother. "Hello?" She answered on the first ring, probably expecting me to beg. "Mom," I said, forcing my voice to sound tired and defeated, "I've been thinking about what you said." "And?" "And you're right. Family is the most important thing. I don't want to fight." "Oh, Abigail!" Her voice shifted instantly from cold to triumphant. "I knew you'd come to your senses. I told Bella, don't worry, your sister loves you. She's just stressed." "Yeah," I said, biting my lip so hard it almost bled. "So tell Bella. She can wear the dress." "Really? Oh, she will be so happy. It's going to look stunning in the photos, Abby." "The 2 Miller girls in white." "But," I added, "can we compromise? Just a little." "What is it?" Her tone sharpened slightly. "Can she wear a coat or a shawl during the arrival? Just so, the guests don't get confused before the ceremony starts. Once she's inside and walking down the aisle, she can show it off." "Well," Mom paused, "I suppose that's reasonable. It's chilly in the church anyway. Yes, we can do that." "Great. And, Mom, I transferred an extra $500 to your account for incidentals." "You're a good daughter, Abby. I'll tell Dad everything is back on. We'll be there early." I hung up. I hadn't transferred $500. I had transferred 0.01 with the memo, "Enjoy." But she wouldn't check until it was too late. They were lazy. They assumed the money would always be there. The trap was set. They thought I was the doormat. They didn't know I had just become the trap door. The week leading up to the wedding was a masterclass in deception. I played the role of the submissive daughter perfectly. I texted Bella heart emojis. I told Mom I couldn't wait to see them. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I was assembling my real family. I called my Aunt Carol. Carol was Mom's younger sister, and they had a love-hate relationship. Carol was gossipy and critical, but she was honest. "Aunt Carol, I need to talk to you," I said, off the record. "What did Linda do now?" Carol asked immediately. She knew her sister. I told her everything. The dress, the ultimatum, the credit card theft. "That witch," Carol hissed. "She told me you were refusing to help them with bills. She told me you were letting them starve while you bought designer shoes. I bought them the house, Aunt Carol. I pay their utilities." I knew it. I knew she was lying. "And Bella, wearing white?" Carol cackled, a dry, sharp sound. "Oh, honey, that girl has been rotten since she was 6. Do you know she told everyone at the bridal shower, the one you couldn't attend because of work, that she was the one who designed your wedding theme? She took credit for everything. I need a favor, Carol. Name it. I need you to be ready at the wedding. When things go south, and they will, I need you to back me up. I need the extended family to know the truth." "Honey, I'll bring the popcorn," Carol promised. Then there was Chloe, my planner. When I told her the new plan, Protocol B, she didn't panic. She pulled out her iPad. "Okay," Chloe said, "if we're doing a public shaming, we need lighting. I can have the spotlight operator ready to shift focus from the cake to the projector screen in 0.5 seconds. "Do it," I said. "And the music?" "Let Bella have her entrance song," I said. "Let her have her moment. The higher she climbs, the harder the fall." The night before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. My parents and Bella didn't show up. They texted that they were too exhausted from preparing for the big day and needed their beauty sleep. "Beauty sleep," Marcus scoffed, reading the text. "They're probably at the casino." "Let them be," I said, sipping my wine. I felt strangely calm. The anxiety was gone, replaced by the cold focus of a predator waiting in the grass. It makes tomorrow easier if I don't see them tonight. My future mother-in-law, Vivian, walked over. Vivian was a woman of class. She wore pearls not to show off, but because she liked them. She knew my family was difficult, but she didn't know the extent of the war. "Abigail," she said softly, touching my arm, "you look tense. Is everything all right?" "It will be, Vivian," I said, "but I need to warn you, tomorrow might be a little unconventional." Vivian looked at me, her sharp blue eyes assessing my face. "Your mother?" "And my sister." Vivian straightened her blazer. "Well, if anyone causes you trouble, Abigail, you remember that you are a Miller now, or you will be. And Millers don't take nonsense. If you need me to spill red wine on someone, you just give the signal." I laughed, genuinely, for the first time in weeks. I might take you up on that. I went to bed that night holding Marcus's hand. "Are you scared?" he asked in the dark. "No," I answered. "I'm ready." I wasn't the girl who bought a house to buy love anymore. I was the woman who was about to foreclose on her past to save her future. The morning of the wedding dawned crisp and clear. It was a perfect October day. The leaves were turning gold and crimson, a beautiful backdrop for what was about to be a massacre. I got ready in the bridal suite with Chloe and my bridesmaids. None of them were Bella. Bella had refused to come to the suite because the lighting was bad for her makeup artist. Tank texted me at 11 a.m. "Eagle is in the nest. Perimeter secure, waiting for the targets." I put on my dress. It was a simple, elegant silk slip dress with a cowl neck. It made me feel like a movie star from the 40s. It was understated, it was classy, it was everything Bella hated. At 1:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the ceremony, the targets arrived. Tank radioed Chloe, who relayed the message to me. They're here. Bella is wearing a trench coat. Mom is wearing gold. Gold? I asked. Like metallic gold, flashy. Of course. I didn't go out to see them. I stayed in the suite. I wanted to deny them any chance to upset me before the walk. But then, at 1:50 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was a text from Dad. Abby, come to the foyer. We need to talk before the walk. I signaled to Tank, who was standing outside my door. Escort me. I walked down the hallway, the silk of my dress rustling against the carpet. Tank walked 2 steps behind me, a silent shadow. I found Dad in the small waiting room off the main entrance. He looked handsome in his tux, I had to admit, but his face was red and he smelled faintly of whiskey. Dad, I said, we're on in 10 minutes. We need to settle something, he said, not meeting my eyes. He shifted on his feet. Your mother, she's worried. Worried about what? About the house, about the future. He looked up, and I saw the desperation in his eyes. But it wasn't a desperation to help me. It was a desperation to keep his lifestyle. She thinks, well, we think, that since you're marrying Marcus and he has money, you should sign the deed over to Bella today. I stared at him. Today? You're doing this now? It would be a gesture, Dad said, a peace offering, to show you really care about family. Bella needs security, Abby. You have everything. She has nothing. I am about to walk down the aisle, Dad. I know, he said, and his voice hardened. And I'd hate to have to tell everyone I couldn't walk you down because I was too distraught over your selfishness. He was doing it. He was actually doing it. He was holding the walk hostage. So, I said, my voice deadly calm. If I don't agree to give Bella a $500,000 house right now, you won't walk me? I'm just saying, it's hard to celebrate when your family is suffering. I looked at this man who taught me to ride a bike, this man who I had protected from bankruptcy. Okay, I said. Okay? He smiled, relieved. You'll sign? No, I said. I mean, okay, don't walk me. His smile faltered. What? I don't need you to walk me, Dad. I can walk myself. Or better yet, I looked over Dad's shoulder. Uncle Frank, Dad's older brother, was walking past the doorway looking for the restroom. Frank was a retired mechanic. He had grease permanently stained in his fingernails, and he was the kindest man I knew. Uncle Frank, I called out. Frank stopped, surprised. Abby, you look beautiful, sweetie. Uncle Frank, are you busy for the next 20 minutes? For you? Never. Dad isn't feeling well, I said, locking eyes with my father. He's feeling too distraught to walk me. Would you do the honor? Frank looked from me to Robert. He saw the whiskey flush on Robert's face. He saw the cold resolve on mine. He didn't ask questions. I'd be honored, Abby, Frank said, offering his arm. I looked back at my father. He was standing there, mouth open, powerless. The leverage he thought he had was gone. You should go find your seat, Robert, Frank said gruffly, before you miss the show. I took Frank's arm. Let's go get married. The ceremony was beautiful, despite the toxicity radiating from the front row. When the music started, the instrumental version of 1,000 Years that Bella had insisted on stealing, the doors opened. Bella walked first. She had kept the coat on, thank God, but she had unbuttoned the top. You could see the white lace bodice. She walked slowly, painfully slowly, pausing to wave at people like she was the Queen of England. She wasn't carrying a bouquet. She was carrying a single white rose. People murmured. I could see the heads turning. Why is the sister wearing white lace? Then came Mom. She strutted. There was no other word for it. In her metallic gold dress, she looked like a wrapped chocolate bar. She sat in the front row, dabbing dry eyes with a handkerchief. Then it was my turn. When I stepped out with Uncle Frank, the air shifted. I saw Marcus standing at the altar. He looked furious. He had seen Bella, but when he saw me, his face softened. He mouthed, "You okay?" I nodded. Game on. We exchanged vows. I focused entirely on Marcus. I blocked out the white blob in my peripheral vision. But as we walked back up the aisle as husband and wife, I saw it. Bella had fully unbuttoned the coat. She was flashing the dress to the photographer as she walked out behind us. She grabbed Chad's hand and pulled him into the center of the aisle for a kiss, blocking the exit for the guests behind her. "Did you see that?" Marcus whispered as we got into the limo, which was just driving us around the block to the reception hall. "I saw it," I said. "Let her have her fun. The higher the pedestal, the harder the landing." The reception was held in a grand ballroom with high ceilings and chandeliers. We had an hour of cocktails before the main entrance. During cocktail hour, I stayed in the bridal suite, touching up. In reality, I was meeting with Tank and the AV guy. "Status?" I asked. "Target is circulating," Tank reported. "She took the coat off immediately. She is very white, ma'am." "Reaction?" "Confusion," Tank said. "Guests are asking her if she's doing a double wedding. She's telling people, 'Oh, practically, Chad and I are next.'" "Perfect," I said. "And the projector?" "Connected to your laptop," the AV guy said. "HDMI 2. Ready on your cue." I took a deep breath. "Okay, let's do the entrances." The DJ announced us. "Mr. and Mrs. Marcus Thorne." We entered to applause. I looked around the room. It was stunning, but my eyes went straight to table 1. There she was, Bella. The ball gown was massive. She had actually pulled up a second chair to rest the tulle skirt on. She looked like a giant marshmallow. Mom was beaming next to her, holding court. Dad was sulking at the bar. We sat down. Dinner was served. The tension was building. I could feel Mom staring at me, waiting for the special dance announcement. She probably thought I had caved. She probably thought Dad's threat had worked, even though he didn't walk me. She thought I was too afraid to cause a scene. Halfway through the salad course, Mom walked up to the sweetheart table. "Abby," she hissed, leaning in, "why is Frank sitting at the head table? Dad is humiliated." "Dad abdicated his position," I said, cutting my chicken. Frank stepped up. "You are so petty," Mom whispered. "But whatever, we're doing the dance after the toasts. Bella is ready. Chad is ready." "Is he?" I looked over at Chad. He was downing shots of tequila. He looked nervous. "Yes, and after the dance, we'll make the announcement about the house." She patted my hand. "It's the right thing to do, Abby. Redemption." She walked away. "Redemption?" Marcus muttered. "That's a funny word for extortion." "Get ready," I told him. "It's toast time." The best man gave a speech. The maid of honor gave a speech. And then, as planned, the DJ said, "And now we have a special request. The sister of the bride has a few words." This wasn't on the original schedule. Mom had bullied the DJ into adding it. I had told the DJ to allow it. Bella stood up. The room went quiet. She had to kick her skirt to get it to move. She waddled up to the microphone, looking every inch the bride. "Hi, everyone," Bella breathed into the mic. "I'm Bella, the prettier sister." A few awkward chuckles. "I just wanted to say, today is about love, and seeing Abby and Marcus makes me think about my own love. Chad?" She beckoned to Chad. He stood up, looking sweaty. "And," Bella continued, "Mom and Dad have such a special surprise for us tonight. A surprise that shows that love is about sharing, about family supporting family." She looked at me, a smug, triumphant smile plastered on her face. "Abby, I know you agreed to this, and I just want to say thank you."
for finally giving me what I deserve. She thought she had won. She thought I was going to sit there and let her announce that she was taking my house. I stood up. I didn't need a microphone. I had the AV system. "Actually, Bella," I said, my voice projecting clearly through the room, "I do have a surprise, but I don't think it's the one you're expecting." I nodded to the AV booth. "Hit it." Let's rewind 1 second to understand the atmosphere in that room. 150 guests, my colleagues from the logistics firm, Marcus's architect partners, family from Ohio and Florida. They were all staring at Bella in the white dress. The whispers had been circulating all night. Is she crazy? Why is the mother allowing this? Is this a skit? Bella stood there on the dance floor, mic in hand, looking like a deer in headlights as I stood up. "Abby, sit down," Mom hissed from table 1. "Don't ruin this." I walked slowly to the center of the room. I took the other microphone from the stand. "Bella," I said, addressing her directly, "you look beautiful. That dress is exquisite." Bella smirked. "Thank you. It cost a fortune." "I know," I said, $4,200, charged to my Visa ending in 4598, on Tuesday. The smirk faltered. "What?" "And the jewelry," I continued, $800. The spa day, $600. I looked at the crowd. My sister and mother seemed to be under the impression that my wedding is a communal pot of money. But that's not the surprise. "Abby, stop it!" Mom stood up, knocking her chair over. "This is inappropriate." "Sit down, Linda," Aunt Carol shouted from table 5. "Let the girl speak." "Thank you, Aunt Carol," I said. I turned back to Bella. "You wanted to announce something about the house, didn't you? The house on Elm Street, the one Mom and Dad live in?" Bella looked at Mom, panic rising in her eyes. Yes, Mom said you were giving it to us, for me and Chad." Chad looked up, suddenly interested. "Wait, she's giving us a house?" "Not exactly," I said. "You see, there was a rumor that I was going to sign the deed over tonight, a dowry extorted from me under the threat that my father wouldn't attend my wedding." A gasp went through the room. Dad sank lower in his chair. "But here is the reality," I said. "I am a CFO. I look at liabilities, and unfortunately I have been carrying 3 major liabilities for 5 years. I raised the clicker in my hand. "Slide 1, please." The giant screen behind the head table, usually reserved for sappy photo montages, flickered to life. It wasn't a photo of us as kids. It was a bank statement, blown up to 10 feet tall. Red circles highlighted transaction after transaction: casino, liquor store, designer boutique, Bella's car payment. "Over the last 5 years," I narrated, "I have poured approximately $150,000 into supporting my parents and sister. While they called me selfish, while they called me cold." "Turn it off," Mom shrieked. She tried to run toward the AV booth, but Tank stepped in her path. He didn't touch her. He just stood there, a wall of muscle. "And finally," I said, my voice dropping to a whisper that echoed through the silent ballroom, "the house." Slide 2. The screen changed. It was a legal document, a deed of sale. "This morning," I said, "at 9 a.m., I finalized the sale of the property on Elm Street to an investment firm." Bella dropped the microphone. It hit the floor with a screech of feedback. You sold it?" Mom gasped. "But we live there." "Not for long," I said. "The new owners want to renovate. You have 30 days to vacate. Since you kept talking about how much you wanted to be independent and how I use money to control you, I'm setting you free." I looked at Chad. And Chad, just so you know, Bella has 0 assets. She has maxed out 3 credit cards, has no job, and now no house. Chad looked at Bella. He looked at the screen. He looked at me. 30 days? Mom whispered. 30 days, I confirmed. And since you spent my emergency fund on that dress, I suggest you start packing. Tonight. The silence in the room was heavy, almost physical. It was the kind of silence that happens after a car crash. Then the chaos started. Bella let out a scream that sounded like a banshee. "You can't do this. It's my house. Mommy said it's my house." She lunged at me. In that big, heavy ball gown, she wasn't very agile. She tripped over her own train and sprawled onto the dance floor, a pile of white tulle and rage. Chad stared at her. He didn't move to help her up. He took a step back, then another. "Chad," Bella cried, looking up, her makeup smeared. "Help me. Tell her she's crazy." Chad looked at me. "Is that true about the cards?" "Public record," I said calmly. Chad shook his head. "I'm out." He turned and walked toward the exit. "Chad, come back," Bella screamed. "We're getting engaged." "Not anymore, babe," Chad called over his shoulder. "I'm not marrying homeless debt." Bella began to sob, beating her fists against the floor. It was a tantrum of epic proportions. Mom rushed to her, but she stopped halfway to scream at me. "You ungrateful, spiteful little witch! You planned this! You humiliated us!" "Yes," I said, "I did. You tried to hijack my wedding. You tried to extort me." "You stole from me. Did you really think I was just going to take it?" "I am your mother." "Then act like one," I yelled back, my composure cracking just for a second. A mother doesn't steal from her child. A mother doesn't call her daughter selfish for wanting her own wedding day. Dad stood up, his face purple. He pointed a shaking finger at me. "You fix this, Abigail. You fix this right now, or you are no daughter of mine." "I think that's the point, Robert," I said. "I am resigning from the position of your daughter, effective immediately." Dad charged. He was a big man, and he was angry. "You undo that sale. You undo it." He raised his hand as if to grab me or slap me. Marcus stepped forward, but he didn't need to. Tank moved. It was a blur of motion. 1 second Dad was charging, the next he was face down on the parquet floor with his arm twisted behind his back. "Stay down, sir," Tank said calmly. "Get off me! Do you know who I am?" Dad sputtered into the floor. "Yeah," Tank said. "You're the trespasser." I looked at Tank. "Escort them out. All of them." "With pleasure." Tank signaled his team. 2 other guards appeared. One helped Dad up, keeping a firm grip on his arm. Another went to Bella, who was still on the floor. "Ma'am, you need to leave," the guard said. "I can't move," Bella wailed. "My dress is too heavy." "I'll help," the guard said, and he literally hoisted her up by the armpits, dragging the massive gown behind her. They marched them toward the exit, the royal family of my nightmares. Mom cursing, Dad threatening lawsuits, and Bella wailing about her ruined engagement. As they reached the double doors, Aunt Carol stood up. She raised her wine glass. "Bye, Linda. Good luck with the move." The room erupted. It wasn't polite applause. It was cheering. People were clapping. My cousins were hooting. My mother turned back one last time, her eyes wild with hate. "You'll rot for this, Abigail. You'll be alone." "I'm not alone," I said, grabbing Marcus's hand. "I have my family right here." The doors slammed shut. When the doors closed, the adrenaline crashed. My knees gave out. Marcus caught me. "Whoa, easy," he said, holding me up. "Is it over?" I asked, trembling. "It's over," he said. "They're gone." The room was still buzzing. I looked at my guests. I was terrified they would think I was a monster. I had just destroyed my parents in public. But then Vivian, my mother-in-law, walked onto the dance floor. She looked at me, then at the guests. "Well," Vivian said, her voice projecting like the matriarch she was, "now that the trash has been taken out, I believe we have a wedding to celebrate." She started clapping, a slow, rhythmic clap. Then Uncle Frank joined in, then Chloe, then the whole room. Uncle Frank walked over and gave me a bear hug. "I've wanted to say that to your father for 20 years, he whispered. "Proud of you, kid." "I sold their house, Frank," I sniffled. "Is that evil?" "Evil?" Frank laughed. "They've been living on your dime and treating you like dirt. You didn't sell their house, Abby." "You sold your house. You just stopped letting them squat in it." The DJ, realizing the mood needed a shift, played Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. I laughed. It was a hysterical, bubbly laugh. "Can we drink now?" I asked Marcus. "We can definitely drink now." The rest of the night was a blur of relief. Without the black cloud of my family hovering over me, I realized how much I had been holding back. I danced, I ate cake, I didn't worry about Bella stealing the spotlight or Mom criticizing my hair. Tank came back in about 20 minutes later. "Status?" I asked. "They are in the parking lot," Tank said. "Tried to slash your tires. My guys stopped them. Police are on the way to issue a formal trespassing warning so they can't come back tonight." "Did Bella—" "Her boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, took his car and left her there. She had to call an Uber. But the Uber driver refused to take her because the dress wouldn't fit in the Prius. She's currently sitting on the curb waiting for an XL. I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. The image of Bella in that $4,000 gown sitting on a dirty curb in the parking lot was the poetic justice I needed. "Thank you, Tank," I said. "There's a bonus in this for you." "Seeing your dad try to swing at me was bonus enough," Tank grinned. Later that night, as we were leaving the venue, I saw a notification on my phone. It was an email from the investment firm I sold the house to. Subject: Closing confirmed. Body: Funds have been wired to your account. We will proceed with the vacancy notice on Monday. I looked at the number. The proceeds from the house, plus my savings, minus the debt I paid off. I was free. Financially, I was wealthier than I had ever been. But emotionally, I was a billionaire. I showed Marcus the email. "Happy wedding day," he said, kissing my forehead. "Best day ever," I replied. If you are enjoying this moment of justice, please hit the like button and comment the number 1. It tells me you're on the side of boundaries and self-respect. The next 30 days were a whirlwind, mostly relayed to me by Uncle Frank and Aunt Carol. I blocked my parents and Bella on everything. Phone, email, social media, I even blocked their friends. But news travels. Apparently, the eviction was real. The investment firm didn't mess around. They gave them exactly 30 days. Mom tried to fight it. She went to a lawyer, claiming squatters' rights or implied tenancy. The lawyer took one look at the paperwork, the fact that they paid $0 in rent, and I paid all the taxes, and told them they had no case. Bella tried to launch a GoFundMe called Sister Stole My Inheritance. It raised $50. $20 was from Mom, $30 was from a random guy who wanted her phone number. The comments section, however, was brutal. Someone, maybe Chloe, posted a link to a screenshot of the wedding dress incident. The campaign was taken down for fraud. They had to move. They couldn't afford a house. They couldn't even afford a nice apartment because their credit was shot since I stopped paying their bills. They ended up in a 2-bedroom apartment on the bad side of town. It was a 3rd-floor walk-up. Uncle Frank told me that on moving day, Bella refused to carry any boxes because she didn't want to break a nail. Dad sat in the truck drinking beer while Mom screamed at the movers. As for the white dress, Bella tried to return it. The boutique has a strict no returns on altered or worn items policy. She tried to sell it online, but because she had spilled wine on the train during her tantrum on the floor, she couldn't get more than $200 for it. A $4,000 loss. I didn't feel guilty. Not for a second. I spent my honeymoon in Italy. We drank wine in Tuscany and ate pasta in Rome. For the first time in my life, I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes to see if Mom needed money. I wasn't dreading a crisis. One night in Florence, Marcus asked me, "Do you miss them?" I thought about it. I looked at the sunset over the Arno River. "I miss the idea of them," I said honestly. "I miss having a mom who loves me. I miss having a sister I can talk to. But I don't miss them. I don't miss the anxiety. I don't miss the manipulation." "You broke the cycle," Marcus said. "Yeah, I evicted the cycle." 6 months later, I was back at work, promoted to VP. My life was peaceful. Then the email came. It bypassed my spam filter because it was sent from a new address, newstartfamily@gmail.com. Subject, "Please, Abby, we're suffering." I shouldn't have opened it, but curiosity is a human flaw. "Abby, I hope you're happy. We are living in squalor.
The heater in this apartment doesn't work. Your father's back is hurting from the stairs. Bella is working as a waitress at a diner. Can you imagine? A waitress. She is miserable. We know we made mistakes. We were stressed. But to throw your family on the street, it's heartless. We are willing to forgive you. We are willing to start over. But we need help. Just $5,000 to get into a better place. Please, be the bigger person. Love, Mom. I stared at the screen. We are willing to forgive you? The audacity was breathtaking. They still thought they were the victims. They still thought I needed their forgiveness. They mentioned Bella working as a waitress like it was a tragedy. I had worked as a waitress in college to pay for my books. They saw honest work as a punishment. I hovered my mouse over the reply button. I typed, "Dear Mom." Then I deleted it. I typed, "Don't ever contact me again." Then I deleted that too. Any response was fuel. Any response showed them I was listening. The only way to win with a narcissist is not to play. I clicked block sender. Then I called Uncle Frank. "Hey Frank," I said, "how are they really?" "They're fine," Frank grunted. "Your dad got a part-time job at the hardware store. It's good for him. Keeps him humble. Bella is actually learning the value of $1. She had to pay for her own phone bill last month. Almost killed her, but she did it. So they're surviving. They're surviving, Abby. They're finally growing up. You didn't kill them. You forced them to become adults. It's the best thing you ever did for them." I hung up, feeling a weight lift off my chest that I didn't know was still there. I wasn't their savior. I never was. I was their crutch, and kicking the crutch away was the only way to make them walk. Today, I am free. My relationship with Marcus is stronger than ever. We are expecting our first child in shortly, a little girl. I have already made a promise to her, even though she isn't born yet. I will never make her feel like she has to buy my love. I will never make her feel like her accomplishments are threats to me. I will never make her responsible for my happiness. We hosted Thanksgiving this year. Aunt Carol came, Uncle Frank came, Vivian came. There was no drama, no screaming, no requests for money. Just food, laughter, and gratitude. I looked around the table and realized that family isn't blood. Blood is just biology. Family is loyalty. Family is respect. Family is the people who stand up and cheer when you finally stand up for yourself. I still have the eviction notice framed in my home office, not in a prominent place, but tucked away on a shelf. It reminds me that I am strong. It reminds me that no is a complete sentence. Sometimes, to build a happy life, you have to demolish the old one.
You have to be the villain in their story to be the hero in yours. And if being the villain means refusing to let my sister wear a wedding dress to my wedding and refusing to let my parents extort me out of my home, then hand me the black cape. I'll wear it proudly. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was intense, but it was my reality. I hope this story reached you. I hope if you are in a situation where you are being used, where you are being told to keep the peace at the expense of your sanity, that you find the strength to snap. You are not an ATM. You are not a doormat. You are the CEO of your own life. Fire the toxic employees, even if they share your last name. Have you ever had to cut off a family member? Have you ever had a wedding horror story? Please, comment the letter A below if you made it to the end. It tells me you are a survivor too. Share your story in the comments. I read every single one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of truth and justice. Until next time, stay strong.